שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש,
Shabbat Shalom. We begin our service this morning with an inspiration for prayer on page 66. Each of us enters this sanctuary with a different need. Some hearts are full of peace and gratitude, overflowing with love and joy. They are eager to confront the day, to make the world a better place. They are recovering from illness or have escaped misfortune. We rejoice with them. Some hearts ache with sorrow. Disappointments weigh heavily on them. Families have been broken. Loved ones lie on a bed of pain. Death has taken a cherished loved one. May our presence and caring bring them comfort. Some hearts are embittered. Ideals are betrayed and mocked, answers sought in vain. Life has lost its meaning and value. May the knowledge that we too are searching restore our hope and renew our faith. Whatever reason it is that brings you to our sanctuary this morning to join us on live stream, if that's where you are, we welcome you. We're so glad we get to celebrate Shabbat together, especially this morning with a special bat mitzvah, Carol Kerman. We are honored to have you here to help lead us in worship today. And so we begin our service on page 78, praising God for the gift of body and soul. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tohorahi. My God, the soul you have given me is pure. We turn to page 83 as we read responsively, setting our intentions for this morning and for the week ahead. As I awaken, let this be my thought. May my day be filled with acts of loving kindness. Let me be drawn to learning and discernment, and may my actions be shaped by mitzvot.
Keep me from iniquity, disgrace, and sin. May I not be overwhelmed by temptation or despair.
Distance me from evil people and false friends. Let me cultivate a life of goodness.
May my hands reach out in kindness, and I will serve God through acts of righteousness.
Today and every day, may I merit your mercy by living my life with compassion and love.
Holy One of blessing, draw me to your words. Teach me the art of sacred living.
Baruch ata Adonai, hamilamed chasadim tovim la'amo Yisrael. We turn now to page 106 as we rise for Khatsikarish and remain standing through the Shema.
Yitkadav, yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Ve'amad yivrach chirutei, ve'amnich malchutei, ve'chayechon v'mechon, ve'chayechu beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zeman kariv, v'meru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitbar v'yitshama v'yitnaseh, v'yitador v'yitoleh v'yitala, Shemei l'kodesha b'richu. Le'ila min kol bechata v'shata, tush bechata v'nechemata, dai mi'aron me'olema, v'meru, Amen.
As we turn to page 108 for the Baruch Hu, it is my pleasure to call up Carol Kerman, our bat mitzvah, to lead us in the next portion of our worship service.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We continue on page 110. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, yotzer or uvorei hoshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha barachamim, uv tuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reishit, ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam bechokma asita malach, ha'aretz kinyanecha, tit barach Adonai Eloheinu, al shavach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita yefa'arucha selah, or chadash al Zion ta'ir, v'nizkeh kulanu mechera le'orot, Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hama'arot. We continue on page 113. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light blinded we saw, that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us as we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, haboher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ahava. We continue on page 114. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated, and we continue on page 116. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha uv'kol nafsha uv'echol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alavavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtacha b'veitecha uv'leftacha v'derech u'shokbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu letatafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Lema'an tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kadoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher chotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem Emet. We continue on page 121. Please read responsively. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation,
nor learn war anymore. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart. The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asked God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing. We continue with the Amidah on page 124. Please rise. Adonai, open tiv tav, uvia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'al Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Kanei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'Nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'moreach Hashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayeho kol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofech olim, Umatir asurim, Kayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melech melech memid chayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman hata l'hayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב ביד נביאך, וכרז אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומות. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד ברכה, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue on page 132 with Yishmahu.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, קוראי עונג שבת.
We continue on page 137. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion, restored in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha bir'ah na'avod. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day. Evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. Please, please turn to, where am I missing?
You're just missing the bottom page.
I'm so sorry, guys. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise you. Your name is truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'eh latodot.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha.
Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people, Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together, through the light of your presence, truly through the light of your presence, Adonai, our God, you gave us a Torah of life, the love of kindness, justice, and blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people Israel at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Having prayed for peace in our world, we think of those who face the future not fully whole, those who are in need of healing, of mind, of body, and of spirit. We take a moment, think of those, and whisper their names out loud. We join together in the words of Misha Berach on page 253.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Please take a moment for silent prayer.
Seder Kriyat Torah, service for the reading of Torah, page 245. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities, to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah. And let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. As we prepare to open the ark and take out our sacred scrolls, I call upon members of Carol's family, her husband Nathan Kerman and her uncle Harold Berg, to ascend to the bima and open our ark as we rise in honor of the Torah.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha. Malchutcha malchut kol olamim, u'memeshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitin, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
I forgot to mention that Ethan is going to be our Torah bearer for our Hakafa. On page 247, we read responsively. In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching.
Justice, goodness, and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Baruch Shanatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shanatan Torah. matov, hine matov. Ya la 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov. Ya la 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 la. Hine matov u'manayim, shavet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shavet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov. Ya la 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov. Ya la 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 la. You may be seated. It's really small or big. She likes the big one. Yeah. This morning, Carol will read from Parshat Nitzavim, Deuteronomy chapter 29, verses 9 through 14, which is also the portion, it's the portion that she had prepared for her original bat mitzvah date a couple months ago, but it's also the portion that we read on Yom Kippur. Moses addresses the Israelites assembled, reminding them that each of them is a part of the covenant with God, as are all of us. Carol will also teach us how this is relevant to her journey and share some wisdom that we can take away with us this morning. It's my pleasure to invite, for the honor of the first Aliyah, Nathan Kerman, Lauren Silverstein, and Carly Penner. And Carol. Oh, sorry.
Point the way. Right here. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim. V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Okay. That sounds good. Atem nitzavim chayom kulachem livnei Adonai Elohechem. Rashechem, shiftechem, zignechem, v'shotrechem, kol is Yisrael. Tapchem nishechem, v'geracha asher bikerev mechonecha mechotev, etzacha ad shoev memecha, la'avracha bivrit. Adonai Elohecha, uv alato asher Adonai Elohecha, koreit emcha hayom. You stand this day, all of you, in the presence of Adonai your God, your tribal heads, elders, and officials, every man, woman, and child of Israel, and the stranger in the midst of your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, to enter into the covenant of Adonai your God and the oath that Adonai your God makes with you this day.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet, V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
This is your bat mitzvah. This is your big time. And now it's Carol's turn to do the blessing.
I have it over here.
It's okay.
Okay. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach. Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Lema'an hakim etchem hayom ki lo'am vehu. I'm messed up here. Adonai lach lelohim ka'asher diber lach uchasher nishba la'avotecha la'avraham liyitzhak ul Yaakov ul etchem levadchem anochi koret et habrit hazot ve'et ha'ela hazot ki et asher yeshno po imanu omed hayom. And that's it. To establish you as God's people and to be your God, as promised to you and sworn to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And not with you alone do I make this covenant and this oath, but with each one who stands here among us this day in the presence of Adonai our God, and with each one who is not here among us this day. Baruch hu et Adonai help me. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Yasher koach. And this concludes our reading of Torah this morning. I'll invite you to rise, and I'd like to invite Carol's granddaughter Brinley to dress the Torah. Please rise. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. O pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. O pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, Elai, Ya Elai, Elai, Ya Elai, Elai, Elai. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu li'avdecha be'emet. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu li'avdecha be'emet. Yalai, la la la, yalai, la 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 la, yalai, la 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 la, yalai, la la la, yalai, la la la, yalai, la la la. V'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu, v'taher libeinu li'avdecha be'emet. You may be seated.
The Torah portion, which I have studied for my bat mitzvah this morning, is Parashat Nitzavim from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verses 9 through 30, and chapter 30, verses 1 through 20. The main character of this section of Torah is Moses. Much of his reputation, even in modern days, comes from the work he does during this section of Deuteronomy. Moses acts as a professor and a teacher here as he gathers all the people in his assembly to talk and teach about the message God has relayed to Moses about the covenant. So through Moses, God is able to speak directly to the Israelites. He warns them in verses 15 through 28 that they will be punished severely if they act idolatrously, the way that the inhabitants of the other nations do. Then in chapter 30, Moses does what any good teacher must do after a harsh message is sent down from above. Moses reassures the people of Israel that God will not forsake them and that by following God's commandments, they too are able to attend God's blessings. Many children talk about how ironic it is that their Torah portion speaks to them on their bar bat mitzvah day, and that one might say it is beshert. As an adult who has lived my entire adulthood as a Jewish woman, the same irony is not lost on me as I speak in front of you this morning. Becoming a bat mitzvah has been a lifelong goal, promise, and commitment I have made to my family, and most importantly to myself. And yes, along the way, I could have stood here and read the words or sang the blessings, or even thrown myself a big party. But to truly embrace what it means in our tradition and heritage to become a bat mitzvah, and to honor the commitment and promise I made to my mother, Letty Simon, and to my sister Stephanie, may both of their memories be of a sacred blessing on this sacred day. Me becoming a bat mitzvah could not become a reality until I was prepared to embrace the covenant ceremony like Moses taught the Israelites many thousands of years ago. I choose on this day to follow this commitment of covenant as an adult of my own free will because I need to be the living example and living proof of what I was taught and now passing along to those that follow after me. It is truly the living embodiment of Lador Vador. This is me listening to the words of Moses, not as some ancient script, but as a living, breathing document, a guide, a moral imperative on how one should live out their Jewish identity. As a leader of my family, I am following many rabbinic commentators such as Rashi, who highlighted the criteria for leadership of the Jewish community. Rashi says, the accident of birth is insufficient, character is all important. Moses' eldest two sons are unworthy because they waste their energies and talents, and they are not dedicated to growing intellectually and spiritually through study, nor are they committed to putting their knowledge into practice. This is Moses standing right beside us in the year 2021 in a Reformed synagogue in San Antonio, Texas, fulfilling the exact same covenant delivered by God in that ancient land. My hope is that I may inspire others that have said, I'm too old to go back and fulfill the covenant, or it's too late, because today I stand here not in words, but in action, that no one is too old and it's never too late. I leave you this morning with the words of the Jewish scholar Rambam, who saw Moses' leadership and left a legacy to his children as an inspiration for us all. He wrote, Moses turns his concerns to the future of his people, rising above his envy and anxiety, urging his successor Joshua to go forward and reconquer the land of Israel. He inspires him with the promise, God will be with you, God will not fail you or forsake you. Moses transforms his retirement and subsequent death into a legacy of courage and love. And so I ask each and every one of you, young and old alike, what teachings and traditions are important and meaningful to you and to your family? What all will you do in your lives to ensure that they continue to survive vibrantly in your homes and in your daily actions? I would like to thank Rabbi Nathan for helping me make this day a reality, and to Cantor Berlin for all of her help in teaching and the encouragement you both have given to me. To my children, Lauren, Joey, and Carly, and my wonderful bonus children, Brian, Deborah, and Mitchell, thank you all for the support and love you give me every day of my life. I love you all more than you'll ever know. Ethan, Brinley, Seth, Sydney, Mickey, and Sawyer, you all are my heart. I love you to infinity and beyond. I hope I can always be an example to you all and pass down a legacy of pride in your Jewish heritage. Nathan, There are no words to describe your unconditional love and support for everything I endeavor to do. You are behind me 100%. I love and appreciate you more than you can ever know. To my family who is looking down today, thank you for passing down your love of Judaism to me, and know that you are missed every day. Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to turn, I'm going to take off my mask then. We're going to turn to page 256 as we, you're going to go right over there? No, you're still staying up here for a little bit. Okay. As we make ready to return toward the Ark, I want to call up two of those bonus children, Mitchell Penner and Brian Silverstein, to open our Ark, and have everyone else please rise. You may all be seated. Carol, come on over here. So clearly, in some ways, this is not a typical bar or bat mitzvah, but we wanted to give you as much of the bat mitzvah experience as you could get, because I know that was a really important thing to you. When you came to me and said, I really want to have a bat mitzvah, of course, we envisioned it right before the high holy days and not here in the middle of October, but truthfully, Torah teachings are eternal, and the ability to get up in front of most of your family and be able to lead worship so beautifully and teach us Torah, I know was something that you have aspired to, as you said, for a very long time, and I hope that you feel a sense of pride and accomplishment in what you have done. When we sat in my office and talked about your Torah portion, we immediately jumped to this idea that this was the Torah portion meant for you, right? I mean, like thinking about a huge journey and what your legacy is and how you pass that on is such an important part of who you are and how you live your life. And so being able to just embody that in Parshat Nitzavim in your Torah portion really did seem like, you know, we had just picked the perfect date. Of course, we were thinking Labor Day weekend. It was going to be easy for travel, but you know, as the Yiddish expression goes, we plan and God laughs, right? But here we are. Here we are. So I loved all the commentaries that you shared. The only one, and I don't disagree with it, but I want to like do a riff on, was the one that, you know, Moses' sons were not necessarily capable of carrying on the legacy, which is why Joshua was appointed to be his successor. And though I wanted to start off by saying, like, you could be Moses, right? So Moses was maybe a little taller, though. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. You know, but unlike Moses, perhaps, whose children did not fulfill the mission in the way that he had hoped, without a doubt, your children are there along with you, fulfilling a sense of Jewish obligation, living Jewish life, raising their children in a way to be proud of their Jewish identity, those old enough to do so to go to Green Family Camp, those who are not yet old enough to do so, I know are already got their names in for Bonim. I don't know what year, maybe it's like 2030. I don't. We got a few years, but it'll be here before you know it. And in all the things that you and Nathan have done in your lives, because you have embodied what it means not only to live a Jewish life, but be committed to a Jewish community, your children live that life too. So in a way that maybe Moses did not succeed, though he is, of course, the greatest prophet ever known, Carol Kerman has succeeded in making sure that the legacy gets carried on from generation to generation. So we're very proud of you, and I am just so glad that you have been given and seized the opportunity to claim this moment in your Jewish journey. And so with that in mind, we're going to invite you over here with Cantor Berlin and Rabbi Jurgen to offer the Birkat Kohanim, and if you all could please rise. Close your eyes and open your heart.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God deal kindly with you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's radiant presence shine upon you, Carol, and grant you life's choicest blessings, to continue to bless you with health, happiness, lots of family love, and peace. Amen.
You may be seated. Sorry, got caught up, except for Carol. Come here. You get to come here. Come on over. So you wanted the full bat mitzvah experience. So let me ask you, like I do for all the B'nai Mitzvah, was this the fastest B'nai Mitzvah service you've ever sat through? Yes, right? See, I tell everybody, and it's true. So we have a certificate for you, just like all of our students get. It looks exactly like that, so that you get to have this. It has today's date on it, so even though we moved it, it has today's date, and you can remember this special moment forever, and still has your Torah portion on there as well. We are going to continue now with Aleinu on page 283. Please rise. Am I supposed to stay here or go there?
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. As we turn to page 291 for our memorial meditation, we note with sadness the death of Dr. Lloyd Diaz, son of Myra and Ross Frapart, brother of Sarah and James Botello, and Rachel and James Buslan, Sam Frapart and Joel Frapart, life partner of Cale Franz, PhD, and uncle of Drew, Aria, and Caleb. Page 291, a meditation by Rabbi Richard Levy. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, When those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were, in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us, alone, must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, and whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community and extended community as we remember them on this day, on the anniversary of their deaths. Shirley Alter, Robert Banks, Faye Berger, Bertha Bornstein, Hyman William Brisman, Nathan Burstein, Burton Cohn, Nell G. Coyne, Ida L. Weiss Copland, Lawrence Dickinson, Blanche Edwards, Doris Ferguson, Frank Friedman, Al Fries, Belle D. Frost, Alfred Gez, Samuel Glass, Alvin Walter Goldman, Joan Friedson Greenblatt, Max Grossman, Ernest L. Howe, Thomas Raymond Herman, Norma Lee Huffaker, Seymour Joss, Ruth Callum, Dr. S.S. Coulter, Yvette Coulter, Ethel Kellum, Frida Klein, David Klingman, Linda Copland, Lorraine Kropp, Erwin Kraus, Louis Lerner, Jenny Lippman, Robert Lipset, Francis Mann, David Menger, Fred Miller, Elise Olton, Alan G. Oppenheimer, Cecilia S. Osason, Richard Pice, Ida Palins, Alice Panitz, Celia Phillips, Agnes Rappaport, Joan Ratner, Judy Rositis, Sandy Reed, Hilda Ricklin, Robert Rubenstein, Betty Schleifer, Isadora M. Schnee, Muriel Schoenfeld, Bernard W. Shanefield, Blanche Shyness, Maurice Singer, Muriel Stone, Gertrude Hanover Tivers, Juanita Teuber, Gregoria Umansky, Lillian Williger, and Raymond Zimmerman. We also think of those who died this past month, whose families are in a mourning period of Shloshim. Remember Dr. Neil Ross Gerwitz, Marilyn Glick Glosserman, Steve Sterling, Francis Frankie Wolf, and Rabbi Barton Lee. At this sacred hour, Carol's family particularly remembers Jean Simon, Letty Simon, Stephanie Simon, Lillian Berg, Ralph Berg, Octavia Simon, and Walter Simon. To all of these names, we add those which are in our hearts each and every day as we join together as one community, rising for Kaddish Yatom, page 294. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'yizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah b'richu, La'ela mikol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen.
Our closing song. There we go, try that again. That's a nice twist.
Is Ein Kelohenu.
It is on Ein Kelohenu on page 322.
Left them hanging.
I know, and I'd like to call up Ethan, Brinley, Mickey, and Sawyer with Seth and Sydney
Oh, they're not here.
in spirits, who are here joining us, maybe live stream? Yes. For Kiddush and Motzi.
atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen. All right, Brinley, you want to do Motzi? No, thank you.
How about we all do it?
You all do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch
Atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam.
hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Do you want a piece of challah? You want this?
I know, it's good juice.
I'm gonna take a piece.
Shabbat Shalom, Mickey. It's so good to see you. I know you are.
Thank you all.
I'm going to give you another touchdown. You rocked it. Not only did you rock it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for all your help. Did you finish the wine?
No, but I am. I'm thirsty.
Is it real or is it memorized?
It's just grape juice. I'm just thirsty.